Shade 45, what's going on? It is the Movie Junkie, and I'm here with the homie Torch. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today, Torch, providing some board op functions and some camera work for me today because I'm here with my guest. And before we get started, and before I tell you who it is that's sitting with me, I have a friend who is a huge fan of yours. He's watched every Chucky film up until now, even the series, and he said he just was hoping that he could come in here and hang out. So if it's okay with you...
Oh my gosh, your friend is in the backpack?
My friend is in the backpack. He's very small,
right?
But he's a very
Aww.
funny guy.
Aww.
And, you know, he's been in there all day, so I thought maybe I'll just bring him out.
Oh, that's
so he
Chucky.
can see you. Yeah, I call him Chuck because there's only one Chucky, but you
and
know,
he's wearing his IMDb baseball cap.
Exactly.
It's showbiz Chucky.
Hanging out with me today is Jennifer Tilly. Season 2 of the series Chucky is out right now on USA Network and Sci-Fi, and so I just wanted to bring Chucky to actually be here with Jennifer Tilly. You know, she voices the character of Tiffany, and she also plays herself in the series. I am a huge fan of this show ever since it premiered last year, and you actually called in to Sway in the Morning last year.
I did.
We were talking about poker.
Yes.
We were talking about all types of stuff. And the reason I wanted to bring up poker is because this is random, a little off topic, but I was watching the movie 7 Days to Vegas recently.
Oh, yes. That's a great movie.
I cannot. That actually happened?
It's based on a prop bet that Vince Van Patten actually did. And there's a lot of, Dan Bilzerian made a bet that he could bicycle from Vegas in 2 days. The poker players are always making prop bets. So yeah, that was something that kind of happened.
Okay. I just found out what a prop bet was watching that film. Right, and so now it's like, it sounds kind of fun in theory, but it's like when they were taking it to the extreme of walking to Vegas in 7 days, I was like, I'm not going that far.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, but it did not look like fun. I mean, he's walking along sweating and his clothes are shredding.
Delirious, like having visions and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and then everybody's on the follow van, making bets and laughing and having a great old time.
And then you have your cameo in there where you sort of place a bet like whether or not he's going to make it, which is awesome. So after you're finished watching the new season of Chucky, you can go watch 7 Days of Vegas. I don't want to spoil too much, but we are here to talk about season 2. And one of the things that I love from the first season that kind of carries over to this new season. Oh, Chucky tried to bail out.
Yeah, he did. He's like, I don't want to talk about. Okay, I'm going to put him back here. Chucky.
All the in-jokes that happen through the series where it's like you guys make references to the older films, you know, characters and everything. So for a fan of Chucky, the character, and everyone else that's involved is really dope. But do you have, like, because since season 1 is out now, do you have a favorite episode from the past season that you can share?
Well, I actually really like the episode where I finally have had it with Chucky because Tiffany has always been under his thumb. He's a very aggressive, domineering male, and she loves him very much, and you never hate anybody as much as somebody that you really, really love. So she, you know, in that sort of lover's quarrel sort of way, like she carves off his head and starts screaming at the head. But, you know, it's different from a regular movie where you cut off someone's head because Chucky is still talking to her.
Right.
He's still insulting her even though he has no body. And that was really fun to do. And also I got to do dramatic stuff because usually Tiffany is making jokes and strutting around and doesn't have a care in the world. And so it was like good to get some emotion in there. Right.
While people are bleeding and everything and she's laughing hysterically, and then she even makes fun of Chucky's manhood at one point. When it's just, that's another thing that I wanted to bring up where it's just kind of like, I'm a huge fan of horror movies.
Right,
and,
yes.
I feel like within the genre, to a degree, there was always certain, I guess you could call them rules that would never be broken. Like, for one, if a kid died or was murdered or whatever, like, you would never really see that. It would be implied, or someone would tell a story about it.
Right.
But Chucky is like, all bets are off. Like, anybody can get it. It's
usually in horror movies, kids are off limits unless they're 17 or 18 and they've been engaging in sex. Then that's okay because, you know, they're bad kids.
Yeah.
But that's what's great about Chucky season 1 and season 2 is that you never have that sense of sort of calmness, like, well, the little kid's not going to get it because they're really, you know, cute. Everybody is fair game in the Chucky universe.
Absolutely, yeah. Because sometimes, like, if you follow horror enough, you can kind of pinpoint, okay, they're going to live because, you know, they're the main character, or there's a little kid, nobody's going to do anything to them. But Chucky is like, you don't know what's going to happen at any point in time. It could be something very horrible. It could be something funny in a moment where it's not supposed to be funny. So I kind of like that uncertainty
and
that comes with the
he's a
series.
dichotomy also because Chucky, in season 1, he says to Jake, he's sort of commiserating with Jake about how hard it is to be accepted being a gay teenager. And he goes, I have a gay kid, I think he said gender fluid.
Right.
I've got a gender fluid kid. And Jake goes, and you're okay with that? And he goes, I'm not a monster, Jake. So then all of a sudden in Twitter, the LGBTQ plus community's like, Chucky's an ally. He's an ally.
Absolutely.
And then a couple of episodes later, he does something really horrible to the LGBTQ plus kids. And you realize, he's nice on Monday, but on Tuesday, he's just a prick again. So he's not like a role model, but people love Chucky. So that's a thing that I found that was very interesting because, yes, get him out of here. Oh, you can have him on your lap now?
I'll just sit him down.
Okay, there you go. Oh,
cool.
he cooperates for you. When I try to make him sit near me,
he tried to jump off the counter.
He dives off the counter.
Do you have any say-so in far as with Tiffany's sort of jokes, or like maybe if there's a scene where you're like, I think she would react this way as opposed to the way it's written?
Well, number one, Don, his scripts are very, very specific. So he really loves his dialogue that he writes. But also we've been friends for 23 years and we have a very similar sense for humor. So sometimes I'll pitch stuff and he'll laugh and he'll say, yeah, go ahead and try that. And sometimes I think if he's not going to like it, I'll just wait till the cameras are rolling. I just say it anyway. So at least he has it. And a lot of times then Alex, the very worried script supervisor, comes up and he doesn't he just kind of points very tentatively to the script like it's I go, yeah, I know. I just thought this might be a little bit better. Right. So it's a very collaborative process. And I bring a lot to Tiffany. A lot of the clothes I wear on the show are my actual clothes. And in Season 2, she dresses very, very campy. And it's because Tiffany is in Jennifer Tilly's body. Just to catch up the viewers, she's in Jennifer Tilly's body and she's living Jennifer Tilly's fabulous life. So she's in her mansion. She goes in her closet. She puts on all the glittery, sequiny dresses. And she just thinks she's fabulous. But so I said to Dawn, I feel like she should be wearing inappropriate things like, a ball gown to breakfast or a caftan to sit by the pool. And so she's very, very spectacular and campy and draggy, I would have to say, in Season 2, and really fun to look at. Don's idea was, because Season 2, Tiffany's story is sort of a parody of Sunset Boulevard. So his idea was, he wanted me to wear a bathrobe in the first 2 episodes. I was like, a bathrobe? No! My gay fans would never stand for that.
Right.
So I said, I think it's maybe better if she's like Sunset Boulevard when the woman would be wearing turbans, Gloria Swanson turbans and gold lame and everything. I think it's visually much more interesting. You can still be depressed even though you're wearing a fabulous dress. I mean, that's what I did all during the pandemic. I was locked down for 13 months and every now and then I would go into the closet and I'd put on a really fancy outfit and false eyelashes and lipstick, and then I'd show up in the living room and Phil would look up from his Call of Duty and he'd go, you want me to take a picture of you? And I'm like, yes, please.
Please.
For my Instagram, yes.
Caption it too, please.
So then on my Instagram during that period, a lot of pictures of me in Uggs and sweatshirts. And then all of a sudden, I'm by the pool, in a glittery dress with a train and a tiara. That would make me happy. And so I feel like Tiffany is a little bit like Jennifer, like pandemic Jennifer. In Season 2, in the very beginning, I'm not really giving much away, but she's hasn't left the house in a year because she's been holding a hostage, which is the unfortunate Nika, and so for over a year, and so that's where it picks up. You see her in the
played
mansion.
by Brad Dourif's daughter.
Brad Dourif's daughter, the fabulous Fiona Dourif,
yes.
She doesn't have any arms and legs now, and she's fighting mad about it. For some reason, she's holding a grudge against Tiffany for cutting off her arms and legs. I mean, I think, come on, Nika.
Yeah.
She wasn't doing it in a mean way.
Yeah, exactly. It was good intention behind it.
Yeah, she's just trying to keep her from leaving home.
Right. I know we have to wrap soon, but I just wanted to know, is there a horror movie? Because I believe you said last time when you called into the show that you weren't that big of a horror fan.
Yes.
But is there a horror movie, maybe when you were younger or whatever, that you were just like, all right, I'm not watching any more horror movies after this? Was there a traumatizing moment from a horror movie?
Well, the horror movie that I really loved, it was The Shining with Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall. And I like the psychological horror, but I also found it really terrifying that the kid had the second sight and could see things that were there or maybe not there, they're in another dimension. I found that really scary, but the scariest moment in that movie was when Shelley Duvall found his script. I put that in quotes he was working on, and it was that typewriting exercise, the quick brown fox.
All fun and no play. Yeah.
All fun and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Was it all work and no play?
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And he'd been typing it over and over and over again obsessively for weeks, and it was just a piece of paper and cutting back and forth to the paper and Shelley's terrified face. It was the scariest moment I ever saw because it's all psychological. It's like, wow, the human brain is a really strange thing. So I loved The Shining, and I was a little not wanting to be alone in the house for the next few days. I don't know. I mean, I'd find a 90-year-old woman in my bathtub.
Oh, God. The naked woman, the old lady scene, that was it for me.
Just starting to get turned on, and then all of a sudden, like,
Right. It's like, here we go. Oh, never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Seen that back.
Yeah.
Gross. And Kubrick also traumatized the cast, from what I understand, while they were filming, and that's kind of what led to a lot of the scenes being so realistic.
Right, yeah. I heard that he was really not very nice to poor Shelley Duvall. You know, sometimes directors do that, and I don't agree with it. Like in Raging Bull, Kathy Moriarty said there was, and she got an Oscar nomination. I'm like, I don't mind if Scorsese slaps me to get me an Oscar nomination. But she said right before a scene, it was either Scorsese or De Niro just slapped her in the face, and then Scorsese said roll, and she was trying to remember her lines and struggling, and she was sobbing and tears were rolling down her face. She said she just felt so, shocked and assaulted.
Right.
And there's also the stories about Dustin Hoffman, how abusive he was to Meryl Streep. I feel like that's kind of patronizing to the actress, like assuming that they can't do the sense memory, or that they have to be verbally abused, or
like, where do you draw the line?
Slapped and there's some other directors too that I've heard have been a little bit. Oh yes, The Abyss. Apparently, they would go under the water, the actors, and when they start to run out of air, they pull on a rope, and then the crew would pull them up, and one of the actors was down under the water, and they pulled on the rope, and the director said, no, leave him a little bit longer, and they started to panic and were freaking out because they thought that they were going to die, and nobody knew they were running out of air, and then he used it. So that was kind of really sadistic, and that's why all the actors hated him on that show, because they were like, this guy's an asshole. You have to feel safe on a set. It's not, you can't have a director going, hey, why don't we really set them on fire, and then, that'll be so realistic.
Yeah. We'll really get the good performance out of them when they're like near death.
Yeah.
Keep that, roll that footage.
Roll that footage.
But like I said, everybody, season 2 of Chucky is out now. It's on USA Network and Sci-Fi, and the beautiful, talented Jennifer Tilly was here. Thank you for making time to come sit down with me today, and I'm glad that I could make the little reunion with Chuck here and you. And Torch, thank you for hanging out with me today, and best of luck with the new series. I mean, I love the fact that you guys are rolling it out week by week, and it's not like binge the whole thing in one day. Like, that's my preference.
They talk about it, and then they anticipate the next week. So that's what Dom wanted also.
Awesome.
Well, it was great to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Jennifer Tilly, Shade 45, the movie junkie here with my homie Torch. Thanks for listening.